Hello, my dear friends. I'm very happy to be back again here with you. I apologize for the long period of time that I was not able to record my astrological videos due to some physical and emotional complications as well. But now I hope to get back into my favorite habit of keeping this astrological vlog updated about the most important events on the sky and how do they influence our lives. So in this video, I would like to talk briefly about the upcoming full moon in Aries. It happens on the 9th of October, and the moon will be positioned at 16 degrees of Aries. Of course, right opposite will be the sun, because every full moon is an opposition between the luminaries. And the sun will be conjunct beautiful Venus in Libra, the sun in Libra. It's the Libra season. So happy birthday, dear Libras. I wish you all the best and a wonderful new year for you, personal new year. So, of course, yeah, we're talking about the topic of relationships and our place in relationships, because at the spotlight is the sign of Aries. As any other full moon, this one as well, is a moment of culmination of emotions. That's why we all know that full moons, a day before, a day after, usually are quite emotional, intense time. So we have to be gentle with ourselves. It's a culmination of any sort of projects, processes, relationships in our lives, especially the ones that we have started 6 months ago or even 18 months ago, because then we had new moons in the sign of Aries, in the same zodiac sign. So that's important. Now the cycle has been completed. So many people will be celebrating some achievements. Others will be re-evaluating their situation and how the project goes. Do they need to make some adjustments or course correction? Because the full moon is like a huge projector, right? A limelight that is illuminating us and everything around us way better. Or, of course, many people will decide to just that the goal does not justify the means, and it's time just to quit and stop putting efforts into this particular objective, let's say so. Of course, we're talking about Aries energy, which is a cardinal fire energy. Cardinal, it's always about beginnings, about initiations, initiatives, about starting something new, being bold, being brave, being courageous. Aries. Fire, it's about passion, it's about egotism, it's about caring about myself, right? It's about proving yourself, achieving, fighting for something, protecting something. What else? It's about being a pioneer and basically being a hero, possibly as well. Well, at least of your own fairy tale, of your own story. And actually, let me share the screen with you so we can together observe the map, the sky map of this lunation. You see the map is built for the 9th of October 2022, 23:54. That's Bulgarian, Eastern European time. And you see the moon in Aries at 16 degrees, 32 minutes, right opposing the sun and Venus in Libra. Now, what's interesting here is that the moon conjuncts the asteroid Chiron, called the wounded healer in astrology. So briefly, the legend is that Chiron was a centaur who was immortal, but he was shot with a poisonous arrow in his leg, in his thigh. So he was bound to suffer forever, for eternity. But instead of just, wallow in his own pain and self-pity, Chiron decided to help others. to heal others, to teach others how to heal themselves. So this is the significance of this asteroid. And you see, for many, many years, Chiron is and will be traveling through Aries. But in this very day, the moment of this full moon, Chiron energy is illuminated very much so on the sky. For each of us, that means a realization of our inner traumas, as physical ones, physical pains, as well as, and mostly, psychological and emotional ones. And in this case, they are connected with Aryan energy. So it's about the traumas of our ego. The ego is super important. We are alive thanks to our ego, because it's who am I? Who I am is, in this case, I'm Michaela, and I'm astrologer, and I'm a translator as well, and I'm a Bulgarian, but also I'm a Ukrainian. A mixed family, and so on. Like, it's how we identify, with what we identify, but also is what I love, what I do, what I aspire to, what I want to achieve, what I fight for and fight against. So it's very important energy. And Chiron can mean here, and of course, each of us most probably has some ego wounds, especially related to our interaction with the others, our social and personal and even professional relationships. Because you see, across here we have, yes, this beautiful Venus, which wants partnerships and balance and harmony, and everyone to be in peace and happy. But rarely it can be so. We're 7 billion people on this planet, right? And we believe, astrology especially believes, that each of us is so unique, so different. So it's hard to keep the peace unless one makes compromise with himself. And here Chiron can mean exactly this: being offended by someone's judgment, that you're too egotistical, that you're too selfish, that you care only about yourself, that you're too impatient, that you just want to do things your way. And maybe you were reproached and you were shamed for these initiatives. On the other hand, maybe you were a very soft person and constantly seeking for compromises and allowing others to decide, and forgetting about your own needs for the sake of everyone's happiness, or to keep your partner satisfied and happy, but you never talk about your own desires and needs and goals and ambitions. Or maybe you are just, like biting your tongue just for the sake your business partnership to go well and no one to get angry, right? So in this case, all those topics can rise during this full moon, as the moon illuminates Chiron, the wounds basically we have because of some disbalance, disharmony in relationships, whether because someone was very selfish, or because someone was too shy, or too conformist to share their true identity. And I'm asking, how can you find the best partner for yourself if you are keeping quiet and you don't show yourself as you truly are? And if you are not even demanding what you think is the best for yourself, in order the other person to do the same, basically, and to meet halfway, right? The good news is that both luminaries, the moon and the sun, they make positive aspects to Saturn. And in this case, really, when we have sextile and trine to Saturn, Saturn wants to help us. He's not here to create obstacles, but to build solid foundations, to ground us. And this is the thing, with such a passionate, impulsive, instinctive nature of Aries, with the full moon, when emotions are on its peak, we can be so argumentative. We can be hysterical, like shouting at our partners. I've been supporting you for years. I've been keeping the peace for years. What do I get? Right? I don't deserve this, and so on. But Saturn makes us wise and like a rock, like a rock amongst turbulent ocean, storm in the ocean. So that's good. And Saturn signifies usually mature people. It's maturity, it's emotional maturity, to see your wounds, to admit your traumas, and to possibly even in a nice way, in a nice manner, share them with the others. Heal your ego. Still be nice to others, but respect and honor your own individuality and needs. And of course, Saturn in Aquarius is about rules within the society, within the community, amongst your friends. Maybe we're talking here about some issues with your friends or with your parents, someone elder, some authority figure. But now it's okay to forget this fear, not forget, but work with it and change your narrative. And basically, if you were afraid till now to take the responsibility to kind of find this balance between your needs and the need to be in a perfect relationship, but the perfect never exists. The perfect symmetry doesn't exist in the world. So basically, we have to learn to be responsible and to be authority in our own lives, right? Saturn here. By the way, Saturn is exalted in Libra. Saturn likes the sign of Venus, the sign of Libra, because Saturn likes fairness and seriousness in relationships. So yeah, things here kind of must be fair and serious. Of course, the same opposition of Chiron and Venus does talk about wounds of self-esteem, about low or lack of self-esteem, about shame, about the mentality of being in a lack, of not having enough, and begging from other people to accept you, to approve you, to value you so you can value yourself. But here you can say that's enough. I will find my own value. And the trick here, this beautiful alchemy that astrology just shows us the way, the right way, kind of the way to happiness, is to transform this poison, these wounds that Chiron got into his leg, into a medicine, into healing, to become healers ourselves, to accept the pain and to take the wisdom from it, yes, Saturn, and to start healing others, inspiring others, mentoring others, teaching others. You see, Chiron has the shape of a key. I mean, the symbol of Chiron has the shape of a key. So this is the key to our own healing. The way that we see the poison, we accept it, we admit it, we work with it, and once we became stable and grounded and we gain our true authority and dignity, we can help others as well through being mentors, teachers, healers, influencers, guides, and so on. Help society, basically. Dealing with issues of self-esteem and the lack mentality, lack of love, lack of money, lack of resources and value. This is just an illusion. We have to change the mental narrative. You see, both Aquarius and Libra are mental air sign. And of course, Venus here, she's a benefic planet. So even in opposition, but especially being so close to the sun, to the ego, which means that we can be diplomatic, we can be gentle, we can be beautiful, we are beautiful, each of us, and we can share with others our revelations about our self-esteem and egos. One more thing I want to add before finishing with the map of the sky. The ruler of Aries is Mars. So the moon is currently a guest of Mars. Mars is the host of this event. So it's very important what's going on with Mars. And Mars is currently in Gemini. In just about 20 days, Mars will go retrograde, thus spending in Gemini not the usual 2 months as he does in each sign, but whole 7-month period. That's long, that's important. I'll try to record a separate video about Mars retrogradation through Gemini, but in this case, Mars is just a bit slow. And so Mars is a planet of speed, right? Mars rules Aries. Mars loves action, to do something, but to be focused on one single goal. While currently he's getting slower and slower before turning retrograde. And Gemini is a mutable air sign, so it's a very hasty, scattered energy. So we want to accomplish a lot, but we just scatter our resources. So here the advice is concentrate as much as you can onto 1, 2, 3 tasks, right? But not more. Don't run around like crazy because that will just make you feel a bit more frustrated. So try to be still kind of a bit more mentally focused if possible. And another important thing is that the next lunation after these 2 weeks will be the new moon on the 25th of October, but it's going to be a partial solar eclipse at 2 degrees of Scorpio. So this full moon in Aries right now is opening the so-called eclipse season, which gonna last for, well, some astrologers say just 2 weeks between one eclipse and the next one. But for me, the eclipse season basically starts with the previous lunation, well, that one. So from now on, and so 25th of October, we have the partial solar eclipse in Scorpio. Then on the 8th of November, we have the full lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Taurus. And then 2 more weeks later, we will be closing the eclipse season. So, my friends, that was the general overview of this full moon in Aries. And now I would like to give some more personal forecast for each zodiac sign. And I encourage you to listen to this forecast for your rising sign, most importantly, because I base my forecasts on the rising signs and on the houses of your natal charts. But also, you can as well listen to the forecast for your sun sign and even for your moon sign, because they will give you even better overview of what to expect from this astrological event. So we start with Aries. Of course, for you, Aries, this lunation happens in your first house, which is tightly connected to the 7th house across it. So we're talking about you and others, you and your partners, but the focus is on you. Remember, full moon is like a projector. So you're on a stage. You can have some stage performances. Some information might come out to others about you. You can come out with some admitting something or disclosing something about yourself, showing up to the world. Of course, full moons are culminations. And in this case, maybe it's about something you have started, some personal, very important for you project or idea that you have planted 6 months ago or 18 months ago when you had a new moon in your own sign. So now there is this culmination, you see the fruits, the results, you're reaping what you have sown, right? Also, maybe it's a point of focus on your health and your environment overall. Maybe you decide, am I staying in this house? Am I staying in this relationship? But I'm staying in this office. How should I treat my body? Am I happy with the results of my diet, my exercises so far? Should I change something, or I should just congratulate myself with a success and proceed further? Dear Taurus, for you, this full moon happens in your 12th house, the house of the past, of everything hidden. So you might have some internal insights, revelations, some important news from the past can come to you, information about your family, your ancestors. It might be related to any sort of projects you were doing in isolation, home office, or maybe you work in hospital, in a prison, on an island. So now you can reap the rewards of your secretive, a bit more like hidden efforts. It might be about revelations about your mental and emotional health, success through working all those months with a psychologist, with a therapist, with a guru. You might achieve some spiritual enlightenment. And it might be some news regarding your plans to relocate, to go somewhere abroad, somewhere far away. Dear Gemini, for you, this full moon happens in your 11th house. So we're talking about news from or about your friends, colleagues, people with whom you like spending your time, as on courses, some hobby you do together. So those are your buddies, your crew. Maybe you are achieving something important together, so you're celebrating. Possibly you're ending some friendships, relationships, or your participation in group projects or companies, team work finishes, or you see the results from your team efforts. 11th house is the acknowledgement and money we get from our career. So that could be a good one for you here, receiving your salary, your bonuses. And 11th house are dreams and goals. So either some dream is coming to a fruition currently, materializing for you with this Saturn here helping, or maybe you're just evaluating your plans for the future and you decide that some former goal is not anymore what you want, not anymore aligned with you. So you decide to change the strategy or change the goal and move to something else, more about your true self. Dear Cancer, for you, this full moon happens in your 10th house. So we're talking about lights shining on your status. And status is how people see you. Where do you work? With whom do you live? Are you married or divorced? Are you a parent or a grandparent? So some news about this. Important things in life can come. News from or about your parents or superiors. Maybe you are achieving something at work. You receive your recognitions, acknowledgements, rewards. Of course, maybe you decide that you go on pension, you retire, or you go on maternity leave, or you go back to work, something like that. And of course, it's about you recognizing your own ambitions and aspirations. Dear Leos, for you, this full moon happens in your 9th house. So maybe a court trial is culminating, dealing with papers, documents. Maybe you find the right documents you need. 9th house is also about self exposure, self-realization in the society, in the world. Is like being the host of a conference, being a speaker, being a publisher, being a teacher, professor, lecturer. So you showing your talents, skills, knowledge to others, teach them something. So maybe that's the moment of glory for you here with this full moon. Possibly more clarity about your relationship with someone abroad or travel, possibly as well. Obviously publishing something of yours, right? Yeah, culmination of some international relations. Dear Virgos, for you, this full moon happens in your 8th house. So we're talking about a focus on your passive incomes, on your investments. So now maybe you're reaping the fruits of what you have invested into the last half of a year or a year and a half. Maybe now you get your tax return. Or the bank approves your loan, your credit, mortgage, or vice versa. Maybe you decide that you won't be able to pay it back later, so you withdraw your application request. 8th house is also concerning our intimate relationships. So here it's possible that you have some important news, a revelation about your personal life and the person next to you. Maybe it's concerning their work and their income and salary. Could be as well success in your business, especially if it's a business related to psychology, therapy, the occult, the esoteric, like astrology, tarot, and so on. For some of you, it might be a signal for pregnancy. Dear Libras, for you, this full moon illuminates your 7th house of relationships. So Venus, your ruler, is in your 1st house. So you're so charming, loving, lovable, and diplomatic. But now the spotlight is on your partner, personal, spouse, boyfriend, best friend, or professional one. So like business partner, for instance. So maybe they will be revealing something about themselves or important for your interaction. It's possible for you guys to sign some agreement or contract, of course, and that might mean engagement rings or weddings, or of course also divorces, because that's kind of an ending of a contractual relationships as well. But something is coming to the surface, to a spotlight, or to a culmination regarding the other important people in your life. Dear Scorpios, for you, this full moon happens in your 6th house. So illuminated is your work and health, important areas, both of them, right? So it's either you're reaching a culmination in some work-related process regarding your employees, your office, your work projects, or your daily routine. How do you spend your days, how much you work, how much you rest, how much you sleep, what you eat, your habits. Here you can congratulate yourself if you have kicked off bad habits. But if you haven't managed to do so, don't worry, because now you can check yourself, do a reality check, and basically change strategy. That's what full moons are giving us chance of as well. So also it's good to know things about your health, right? Full moon can give you the knowledge about what is this symptom, why I feel this way, tired or sick or in pain, where it comes from. So it's good time to do some analysis and research of your health. Dear Sagittarius, for you, this full moon happens in your 5th house of love, children, hobbies, business. So maybe you're celebrating the success of your own small business, your startup has first achievements. Maybe you have news about or from children, your children in your life, about pregnancy. And of course, maybe it's culmination of your hobby, like a little exhibition or dance performance, or publishing your little novel or poetry book. Yeah, and about love life, of course, here your partner might share with you some important information, realization, so you guys can decide whether you stay together, go to a next level, develop this relationship, or you quit basically and separate. Capricorns, dear Capricorns, for you, this is your fourth house. A full moon in fourth house can give you beautiful home family celebrations, new member in the family, understanding of where do you want to live, with whom, how, do you sell, do you buy a house, do you move? At least there is this understanding, right? You can do some adjustments accordingly. Maybe you have just finished building house, so you're so proud, so you have this party at home with your family and friends. Also, your emotional world is illuminated here, your kind of emotional foundations, I would say. Dear Aquarius, for you, this full moon happens in your third house. So we're talking about news, a lot of information, knowledge. Maybe you are finishing a course, graduating, receiving a certificate, a diploma. Maybe those are some news from your neighbors, siblings, extended family. Celebration in your neighborhood, in your community, understanding of what to do with your vehicle, to repair, to buy, to sell. You just gained new manual skill that you can show to the world. And third house is also our thinking patterns. Are we optimistically thinking? Are we pessimists? Do we have some compulsive thoughts? How do we think? How do we process information? So here, it's very good to pay attention to your mental processes for the sake of your good emotional and mental well-being. Dear Pisces, for you, this full moon illuminates your second house of finances and work. How do we earn money? How do we spend money? So now it's like the light shines on your general ledger, right? The income outcome. So hopefully it's good news. But at the very least, maybe you're allowing yourself some beautiful purchase, something you always wanted. So it's also time to pamper and pleasure yourself with something nice to eat, to wear, some nice piece of furniture, decoration, and so on, because second house is our belongings, possessions. Of course, salary being paid to you, receiving some money, but also second house is our value system, what we value in life, and definitely self-esteem. So here with Chiron, with this full moon, it's time for you to pay attention to your how much do you appreciate and love yourself, because that directly influences the kind of the rewards you get for your professional efforts. How do you kind of sell yourself, right? So matters, questions of self-esteem come here to the surface. So my friends, that was the overview of the upcoming full moon in Aries. Thank you so much for being with me, for liking, sharing my videos, and subscribing to my channel. Take care of yourself, have a wonderful full moon, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.